One of the biggest stories of 2016 is the re-emergence of one of the all-time great gaming characters. Crash Bandicoot was the flag bearer for Sony's PlayStation throughout the 90s and is set to return in a redefined trilogy throughout 2017. So what better time than to make a video of 10 things you probably didn't know about Crash Bandicoot. The original Crash Bandicoot could have ended up very differently. The original plan was to call the game Willy the Wombat, believe it or not, but Universal Studios insisted that the character be renamed Wuzzle, at which point Naughty Dog fought back and said they would stop development on this game if the character remained with the name Wuzzle. They continued on the development cycle, they saw how the character would smash into boxes, and hence Crash Bandicoot was born. Crash Bandicoot's working title was Sonic's Arse Game. Now Naughty Dog took it upon themselves to poke fun at the previous market-leading platformer games, which were of course Sonic the Hedgehog and Super Mario. Now because Crash Bandicoot was one of the first 3D third-person platformers, the focus was of course on Crash's derriere. So to poke fun of that, they decided to call the working title of Crash Bandicoot Sonic's Arse Game. The now famous crates were actually added as a last-minute afterthought to Crash Bandicoot. The game was perceived as too easy, so Naughty Dog added these collectible crates just to create some complex puzzles and give players an extra thing to think about. As mentioned earlier, the way these crates were collected gave birth to the name Crash. The Crash Bandicoot soundtrack was almost not a thing. The music was actually a last-minute addition to the game, once again. The original planned soundtrack was going to be a composition of animal and traffic noises just to make it random and sporadic. Luckily, at the very last minute, Naughty Dog added a proper soundtrack which is now famous. The hardest level in the original Crash Bandicoot was called Stormy Ascent and was actually removed for being too difficult. Now luckily some coders out there managed to rediscover the level hidden in the original code for Crash Bandicoot, and they actually unlocked it via a Game Shark, if any of you can remember what one of those are. So if you do want to experience Stormy Ascent, get yourself a Game Shark, get yourself an original PlayStation and an original copy of Crash Bandicoot, and you can experience the hardest level in history, Stormy Ascent. Crash Bandicoot was the first game to have dynamic difficulty settings, which meant if you died so many times in a level, you would spawn with extra life, or there'd be extra checkpoints throughout the level to help you, because the game would register that you were struggling to get through this. The first game in history to do it. It is just the norm in games these days, but Crash Bandicoot was the first game to have dynamic difficulty settings. Ripperoo's laugh is the same laugh used by the hyena in Lady and the Tramp. It's just very slightly shortened. You didn't know that. Crash's first girlfriend, Torna, was actually based on the actress Pamela Anderson, believe it or not. She was removed from the sequels of the game for being overly sexual, believe it or not. So there you go, Torna died a death because she was based on Pamela Anderson. Bless her. The floating witch doctor mask Aku Aku got its name from a Polynesian restaurant in Boston. Now the developer Dave Baggett quoted, "It had a giant tiki statue out front and, as I recall, fairly terrible food," and that gave birth to Aku Aku. The original plan was to have cel-shaded animated cutscenes after each level in Crash Bandicoot, so very much like a Saturday morning cartoon. However, Sony intervened on this plan and said they need to show off the power of the 3D graphics, so Naughty Dog went back to the drawing board, created these rendered in-game cutscenes, and the rest is history. There you have it. That is 10 things you probably didn't know about Crash Bandicoot. Now if there's anything I missed, then let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up. If you're new around here, then why not hit that subscribe button? I've been Waterfields1. Enjoy your gaming. See you later.